Hi everyone, I will guide you through these lessons on gender equality, and to do that we'll use a PowerPoint presentation. In this very first part of the course, I will introduce you an e-learning platform named Regenerate and the work of Fondazione Pangea that every day works on gender equality and gender-based violence against women. So let's start. Pangea is a no-profit Italian organization that promotes the socio-economic empowerment of women around the world, like in Italy, India, and Afghanistan. Pangea also works to combat violence against women and to protect their children, thanks to the presence of shelter houses and the anti-violence desks. During these first lessons that we'll do together, my aim will be to make a focus on presentation of the Regenerate learning platform, why was a platform created, and learning about gender issues, and address the issue of violence against women following some specific points like prevention, awareness, gender stereotypes, and dynamics of violence. The Regenerate Learning is a self-paced course for teachers and educators who are interested in engaging secondary school students in rethinking gender roles and stereotypes as a way to prevent and combat gender-based violence, especially against women and girls. So you can go to this link, www.regenerate.eu. This course will last 10-15 hours more or less, and we'll use different types of learning materials like videos, illustration, exercises. And one of the tools that we will use is the quick guide that you can find at this link. So let's see it together. So here you have the quick guide. And as you can read, the Regenerate Quick Guide represents a support to the Regenerate Learning course, which has the objective to build the capacity of teachers and educators for using art as an entry point to deconstruct gender stereotypes that justify gender-based violence against women and girls towards a more equal and inclusive society, free of violence and discrimination. So, at the end of the Regenerate e-learning course, you will be able to understand what we mean by gender issues, including gender-based violence against women, how gender roles are constructed and gender stereotypes reproduced, use art as an entry point to speak about gender inequality, gender stereotypes, and gender-based violence against women. Explain the role art has played throughout the centuries in replicating unequal gender relations and justified gender-based violence against women. And very important point, you'll be able to raise the awareness of young girls and boys on gender equality and prevention of gender-based violence against women. So in this first module, we'll study and we'll talk about the analysis of the contents and the gender and the stereotypes. And we'll answer some specific questions like, what is gender? What is a gender stereotype? And how do gender stereotypes contribute to gender-based violence against women? That means that at the end of this module, you'll be able to answer the following questions. What is the difference between sex and gender? What is a gender stereotype? And how gender stereotypes contribute to gender inequality and discrimination? And it's very, very important, it's crucial to understand that gender and sex are two different words and two different concepts. Sex refers to how different biological and physiological characteristics have been organized to distinguish male from female individuals. Gender, on the other hand, refers to the socially constructed characteristics of men and women, and these two concepts will be further explained below. In the video below, young people share their insights and ideas on gender and gender identity. So now we'll watch to this video.
When a baby is born, the first question many people ask is it a girl or a boy? Well, actually, it's a baby. A box is ticked and a label is attached. It might seem from then on that everything is mapped out. Society tells us that boys are supposed to be and girls are supposed to, but it is not always this simple. Lots of people can feel trapped by these ideas and challenge the stereotypes by breaking out of the boxes they were put into. So, is sex the same as gender? Sex is about biology. A person is given a label of male or female based on their body parts, hormones, and biology. Gender identity describes how you think of yourself. It's how we feel inside and how you want to be known by others. Only you can define your gender identity.
So it's not just male and female, there are so many in between. You might be non-binary or gender fluid.
For me, gender is a way of understanding yourself and seeing yourself and relating yourself to other people and seeing what your place should be in the world.
Gender, to me, in 3 words, is unique, individual, and fluid.
What I would choose to represent my gender is silver holographic foil, the kind that reflects light and refracts it into rainbows when you adjust it with the light. If pink is for a girl and blue is for a boy, then for me, it's silver.
I've brought along an egg because what you see on the outside isn't always what you see on the inside, and you may be putting on a layer on the outside.
Society can judge you by the way you present your gender. So they might see you as a male, but you might identify as a female. It's not judged by society, it's about how you feel.
For me, gender isn't what other people see you as. For me, gender isn't 2 set of ideals. It's a spectrum.
Gender has traditionally been seen as a binary system, but perhaps we should think of it as a spectrum with loads of possibilities. For a lot of people, their gender identity and sex line up. This is described as cisgender. But someone who feels their gender identity and sex don't match might describe themselves as transgender, or trans, or non-binary, or gender fluid, or gender questioning.
People would judge so quickly about it, and how that society deems it to be like, if you don't identify as the 2 set genders, you're weird or different.
You pick and choose what bits kind of work for you, a bit like a puzzle, or, you know, you kind of put in what pieces work for you. And gender comes in all different shapes and sizes. And gender's not one of those things that, you know, you wake up one day and suddenly you've got it all figured out and nailed down and it's sorted for the rest of your life. It's one of those things that it's fluid and it changes over time and that. So maybe, you know, one day you'll wake up and feel a certain way about your gender, and then 6 months down the line you'll feel slightly different.
A lot of things can change from when you were a baby to now. So, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, were you born a girl or were you born a boy?" And I says, "Actually, I was born at £10 too, but a lot of things changed."
You might be unsure or questioning your gender, and that's okay. Gender expression is how you present your gender, through your actions and how you dress. It's what you wear, the pronouns you use, he, she, they, the way you act, look, or dress. Gender expression is unique and individual. The only thing that limits a person is their imagination.
Some may express their gender through the clothes they wear, through how they act, through their pronouns.
To feel confident expressing your gender, you'd use your clothing, your hairstyle, your pronouns that you use. Everyone uses it a bit differently.
I use the pronoun they, which is the singular they, which is gender neutral. And I chose this pronoun because when people call me by my pronoun, I feel more real. I feel more like they're seeing me for who I am rather than just imprinting stereotypes on me based on what they think I was assigned at birth. They're seeing me for who I am, they're accepting me, they're respecting me, they actually see me the way I see me, and they're not forcing me to see myself and present myself in the way that makes people the most comfortable.
For me, gender is expressed in many different ways, and all of them are okay, however you choose to express it. Expressing my personal gender is like my hat, my silly hat. It's not a conscious kind of expression of gender, but it is a way of expressing gender, and it is a way of expressing me.
I was told I was a boy, but as I have grown up, I've come to know I'm a girl. I call myself a trans girl. In order to match my sex with my gender, I am transitioning, which means I want to change how others know me. Part of my transition is for me to change my name, pronouns, and some of what I wear. It means it is important that you call me she when you talk to and about me. Transition means different things for different people, and not every trans person wants to transition. Some trans people have support from medical professionals, but for the moment, I'm happy as I am. I'm a person just like you. I'm a girl who happens to be trans.
So we'll go for some of the worst things first. Some of the worst things I personally have been asked is somebody abruptly who only really knew me for a few minutes, went on to ask me what my birth name was and if I'd had the surgery, instead of asking some really polite questions like, "Hi, my name is, what is your name? Do you have any preferred pronouns that you'd like me to use?" Just general human, I'm meeting you questions like, where are you from? What do you do? Do you study? Do you work? They are generally questions that just make you feel a little bit more comfortable in yourself, because we're all human beings and we should all talk to each other like human beings.
Best things to ask is about pronouns, asking people what pronouns they prefer, what name they prefer, asking people what help and support they might need.
Listen to them, use their preferred pronouns. If they've asked you to specifically do something or not do something, then try your best to follow those rules that they've put in place. If you do something wrong, apologise, but don't make a big deal out of it.
I've been asked on more than one occasion, so what have you got down there? And it's like, trousers.
Believe them and accept what they say.
Talk about it, research it, find a friend and have a long, deep conversation over a cup of tea.
You know, you wouldn't go up to somebody who wasn't trans and be like, "Oh, so, I hear that you're not trans. Let's talk about that. Let's discuss this gender issue." You wouldn't do that.
Don't just be scared or sink away into a deep, dark hole of scaredness. Like, go out into the world and find out the information you need.
Figuring out and being recognised for who we are is important. Many people think about or question their gender at some point in their lives. Too often, people who do not fit the stereotypical boy or girl box are ignored, harassed, or bullied. This is often because people don't understand how varied gender can be. Taking the time to learn more about and accept ourselves and others is crucial. It's important to remember we are all different, and that's okay. We all deserve respect, no matter what our gender. This applies to everyone.
Don't hide away if you feel like you're being bullied or there's someone that said something that you're not comfortable with. Go and tell someone that you trust.
You could chat to someone you trust, whether that be a friend, your parents, a teacher at school.
Don't keep it silent. Don't stay hidden.
A really good place to go to is the Each Action line, which you can call, and what they'll do is they will direct you to the relevant support networks in your area to really get you the help that you deserve.
You don't have to be trans to talk about trans issues, because actually it's a discussion around gender, and everybody, whether you're trans or not, has a gender, so talk about it.
So let's talk about it. And what we learned is that sex refers to the biological and physiological characteristics that are attributed to men and women. Gender is the social-cultural counterpart of sex, is determined by the specific social conventions within a given culture and society. And gender is related to the sex we are given at birth and is arbitrary. So, the social construction of gender. As already explained above, one of the main characteristics of gender is that it is socially and historically constructed. But what does this mean? In the video below, you will learn more about the theory of social constructionism in relation to gender. So, let's go to this new link.
Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of gender studies. In our previous lecture, we have covered the topic Introduction to Gender Studies. Now we will move forward to our next topic, which is social construction of gender. Under this video, we will specifically understand the concept of social construction of gender. Let's start this lecture now. First of all, what do we mean by the term social construction? Social construction is the idea that race, class, and gender don't really mean anything. They only have meaning because society gives them a meaning. Social construction is how society groups people and how it privileges certain groups over others. For example, you are a woman or man because society tells you that you are, not because you choose to be. Just like it tells you what race you are classified as and what social class you belong in. It is just a social process that makes us differentiate between what is normal and what is not normal. Beginning of social construction of gender. According to Judith Lauber, social construction of gender begins with the assignment to a sex category on the basis of what the genitalia look like at birth. So he basically says that the social construction of gender is a process which starts just after the birth of a child. When a child comes in this world, the society starts constructing its gender. In the first sight, the society sees the genitalia of newly born baby and decides accordingly that either the newly born baby is a male or female. So in this way, the social construction of gender begins just after the birth of a baby.
Mew script. Anything.
Role of parents. In the next step, parents of newly born baby start dressing their child according to the decision which they had made after seeing his or her genitalia. If the baby is female, then parents start dressing her in pink dresses, and if the baby is a male, then they dress up him in blue dresses. There are different styled dresses for male child and totally different styled dresses for female child. If child is a female, parents keep on giving her a look of girl, and if the child is a male, then they give him the look of a boy. Their hairstyle, shoes, and whole get-up depend purely on the fact that either they are male or female. When these children grow up under the supervision of their parents who have been dressing them on the basis of their genders, then the society gives a new task to these children. Female child is asked, or at least expected, to act like her mother, and male child is expected to act like his father. So this is basically another step towards their gender construction. Role of schools. Apart from family, which is the first agent of socialization and learning gender identity, children learn from other sources like schools. Playing with dolls versus playing with blocks. Girls are supposed to play with dolls from their playgroup class, and boys are supposed to play with blocks. Girls play different games and boys play different games. They grew up while dressing, playing, and behaving totally different from each other. Role of media. Media also plays an important role in social construction of gender. TV programs influence gender identity. These TV programs show male heroes saving the weak female. Such scenes promotes a clear division between male and female. Male gets the feeling of superiority and female gets the feeling of inferiority. Such programs made females dependent upon male, and male gets the feeling of being more powerful, which lead them towards authoritarianism. Role of culture and religion. Besides media, culture and religious beliefs and attitudes have a serious impact on gender identity. In many cases, it promotes stereotype beliefs against women and lead to gender discrimination. Gender discrimination can be witnessed currently in various countries of the world. Division by society. Each gender is expected to dress and act in a certain way, but these behaviors then lead to stereotypes. At this step, when that newly born baby has grown up, then he or she is expected to act and dress in a certain way. If he is a boy, society expects from him to wear something which is made for boys, and he should also act in a way like males already existing in that society are doing. If she is a girl, then the society expects from her to dress up like the woman of that particular society, and also her activities should be according to the woman of that society. Such an approach of society basically leads society towards the stereotypes, which usually becomes the reason of a number of problems in the society. So these stereotypes create a division in the society. They construct the genders with the feeling that women are weaker than men. As men are stronger than women, therefore men should be in power. After creating a division between men and women, Society also divides them as a whole on the basis of the resources they have. For example, if you are living in an apartment, you are supposed to be poor. And if you are living in an home, then you are supposed to be rich. Conclusion. Keep in mind that social construction of gender does not happen at once and does not stop with children. It continues throughout our lives and influences our perspective and the way we view things and situations. Society constructs our gender and categorizes its members similar it does with age, ethnicity, race, social class, and status. It is basically society which constructs the gender's identity. So this was an overall view of social construction of gender. The topics which come under this broader topic of social construction will be covered in coming lectures. Thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon for more videos.
So, what we learned from this video is that social constructionism refers to the idea that meaning is decided by social agreement and convention, that deals with the historically defined meaning that is created through the definition and categorization of certain groups of people, experiences, and realities. And it refers to concepts, ideas, and meanings that are continuously redefined, developed, and contested throughout history. So, what are gender roles and stereotypes? Gender roles define how we are expected to speak, act, dress, according to our assigned sex. Girls and women, for example, are expected to dress like to wear a dress, a skirt, to use makeup, to be polite and caring. Boys and men, on the other end, are expected to wear trousers, to not use makeup, to have short hair, to be strong and adventurous. Gender roles are not fixed and can be changed over time. For example, at the beginning of the 20th century, pink was the color for boys and men, while blue was associated with feminine. Now it's the other way around. So that means that gender stereotypes are socially and culturally constructed and endorsed. For example, fixed, persistent, and difficult to change. And these are a repeated set of ideas, images, and connotations that are ascribed to a specific group in society. And gender stereotypes are oversimplified and do not recognize the diversity, complexity, and competence of a specific group in society. And they are found at all levels of society. So, at the end of this first module, we can say that gender stereotypes are a discrimination and a violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms. They limit women's and men's capacity to develop their personal abilities, pursue their professional careers, and make choices about their lives. And gender stereotypes produce inequalities between genders, and they have a disproportionate negative impact on the lives of women who also face stereotypes based on race, disability, sexual orientation, and/or class. So, Thank you for your attention, and we'll see you for Module 2. Thank you.